How do you take your love for baseball and comic books and blend them together? That is what this week's guest has done better than anybody that I've ever seen. It's Austin Blake from Batter on Deck, and he took his love of, Marvel superheroes and DC superheroes and created a comic book themed baseball brand that makes batting gloves, protective gloves, gloves for catchers, and some really cool gear that blends those two incredible art forms. In this episode, we talk about how he got started, how he created his gloves, some of the intricate parts of it, and how you can go from a baseball player, a college baseball player, get into coaching, and then create a business around the things that you love. I think you're absolutely going to love this episode. You're going to love the products that Austin has created, and I can't wait for you to check out this episode of The Brolettes. Guys, before we jump into today's episode, I got to tell you about our new sponsor. It is Stinger Sports. Guys, I got to tell you what I love about these guys. So first, I met Brandon, the founder of Stinger, through a mutual friend. We had him on the podcast. It's one of my favorite episodes. Make sure that you go and check it out. But we've developed not only a bit of a friendship, but now a partnership where we want to introduce everyone on the world to Stinger Sports because they make incredible athletic gear at an affordable price. And this is what I really love, because if you're a parent, you know how expensive gear is getting, how expensive uniforms are getting. And these guys make affordable stuff that is pro level quality. Right now, Colt is using one of their gloves. I mean, this thing is sick. Look how customized that is. And he's using this in 13U baseball right now, which is amazing. And then we also brought them on as a uniform sponsor. Look at these custom Stinger Sports Brolette jerseys. How cool are these? And the best thing, they're not just for baseball. So baseball, soccer, volleyball, whatever that you need, they can equip you. But on the baseball side specifically, what I love is they will equip you with fully customizable jerseys, but also the pants, the hats. They will also get you the ancillary stuff like batting gloves or team backpacks or anything that you need. And they have packages that make it affordable for any family. Guys, you got to check out Stinger Sports. I will put the link in the description. Check these guys out. Make sure you tell them that the Brolettes sent you. And please, please, please support our sponsors here. Check out what they're doing. Big fans of Stinger Sports. Now, let's jump into this week's episode.
You were a catcher at UNF. What's one lesson from catching that's helped you now as a business owner?
One lesson has been just kind of watching the team. As a catcher, you're kind of visually watching the team. You're controlling the pitching staff. You're kind of the engine behind everything. So as a business owner, you're kind of doing the same thing from the marketing side, the inventory, through customer service, through all that stuff. So you're really watching everything as a whole, making sure everything functions as one. And, a successful team is a successful business. So that's kind of what I took away from catching and how it's helping me right now.
What are some of your favorite memories playing baseball?
Favorite memories had to be playing some of the best college teams in the country, playing at UF, playing against FSU, playing against some guys that are playing in the big leagues right now. It's pretty cool to play against them, see how they were in college and kind of how they you're watching them on the big screen, watching them in the playoffs right now. It's a pretty cool moment.
That's got to be cool. Like at UNF, like you're probably playing the Floridas, the Florida States, because you got everybody right there. So it's like you get to play big conference baseball, even not being at like a super major, right? And it's got to be exciting for those moments.
And that's what was exciting going there, is that, sometimes going to the big schools sounded great on the outside. But if you sat there and didn't play as much as other kids, you're kind of behind the scenes. So I was fortunate to play UNF, to play against everyone, to showcase myself against the best of the best. That was even better, to play against, like you said, the biggest schools in the country.
That's awesome, man. Now let's talk about finishing up college, right? A lot of people, it's not just you, right? You finish playing, you played baseball your whole life, right? 5 years old to 21, 22, 23, depending when you graduate college. Some guys go indie ball, some guys go pro ball, and then they have the same thing of like, what's next, right? Like, what do I do? Do I go get a job? Do I try to keep playing? And what's kind of cool is you got to stay close to the game now as a strength coach over at Seminole State. So you're still around the game, which is cool. So even before now starting the business, which we'll get into next, but you decided to stick around and keep helping kind of the next generation. So how did you make that transition?
Because my senior year of college was COVID year. So that kind of shifted everything. So kind of sped up everything pretty quick. So that's when I got into, I had a passion for strength, worked at the UNF department over there. Once college was done, basically, Seminole State is where I went 2 years to play baseball before UNF. So I had a good relationship with the athletic director, a good relationship with the coach there, and was able to work there as their strength coach for a little bit. And then I kind of shifted into quote unquote the job world a little bit and tried different jobs, didn't like it, and just kind of came back to baseball and the training, doing private lessons, putting on camps, clinics, and just kind of in that developmental stage of athletes, which was just a fun passion to do. I joke around with people. What I do for a job is I flip baseballs, for a living. So it's a fun job to have. And, obviously going into the batting glove business and stuff, just being around it, and it's a fun world to be in. I'm fortunate to have that as a full-time job, because other people don't like their jobs. I enjoy it.
So why'd you start a business?
I started a business. I've always had an entrepreneurial mindset. I work always in my head. I always like to improve and do stuff. I started the business specifically just, I had an injury in college on my hand where I had surgery. And I saw the market of how big batting gloves and the protective world was nowadays, with adding sliding mitts and stuff like that. So I just created something that I think was a need in there. That was kind of a big push. And I tried to put a little bit of a twist on it to kind of showcase it and make it more than just another brand.
Let's go back to the start. How'd you come up with the idea, the brand, and everything else that has become Batter on Deck?
Yeah, so I might have skipped a step on that one. But yeah, like I said, I created Batter on Deck, the company for it, two sides of the protection world. But then I'm a huge comic fan. A lot of people love comics. When I was looking at the idea of building the brand for it, the biggest thing was, either the ice cream shorts or, the neon colors or stuff like that. So, and there were so many companies doing it. So for me to do the same thing and be one of 20, 30, 40 of them, it's very hard to stand out. So I took the comic route. I took more of the protection route and focused on more products that were focusing more on protection for youth athletes that weren't being marketed for them. Even if companies or brands had something similar to it, they weren't marketing it to those specific players, which is why what I'm trying to do. And with the comics that no one's had for a brand before, I'm trying to build that avenue for it. And with the protection and more products that I'm building and creating for specific protection purposes, that's why I created in kind of the behind the scenes a little bit.
I love that, man. I think, especially today, like differentiation is everything, right? Because there's so much competition out there. And I think at least from my eyes looking, it looks like there's kind of three things here. One is you got injured in college with a hand injury, right? So there's like a personal story there. Two is you bring the comic book side and then the protection side on top of it. How important is differentiation, right? Like we were talking right before we went live, like, I see your booth at a local event. It doesn't look like anybody else's booth. The designs don't look like. That's so important. You have to stand out. You have to do something different. But how intentional was that as you were, putting all of this together?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I work day and night, my mindset and what differentiates with obviously the brand, the visual, it's kind of my work ethic on social media. Of what I built, and that was before the brand and when I was doing baseball and lessons and stuff, is that it's not a necessity what I do, the lessons and stuff. It's usually an extra stuff. So I've worked very hard on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, posting what I like to say more than most people have ever posted, more than any human, just to showcase myself. And like you said, being different, there's a million brands and companies that are trying to get in this space to get 1% of 1% of the athletes to wear their stuff. And for me to be different, the visual had to be different. My work ethic of being at as many tournaments and duplicating at different tournaments in the same weekend, posting on social media, doing giveaways, giving free, doing as much as I can across the board, which was going back to the catcher, the first question, seeing everything, the marketing, the visual, the in-person, online, how it creates an overall machine. And that's what I work very hard on every single day of building and, building the connections, the relationships with other athletes and other podcasts and videos to share the message, because unfortunately, until you're in academy or in a Dick's or a big sporting goods store where kids go there before the season, they get their Rawlings or Nikes, whatever they are, and they kind of walk out, it's hard to get that trust online sometimes to buy something that's, hey, it looks cool, but no one has heard of it really yet. So I'm trying to get it out there as fast as I can and build something cool.
How did you get your first gloves made? What are some lessons you learned when starting to create designs and work with manufacturers?
So that's a great question. So obviously I'll show kind of the finished product right now, which is the Safe Hands, which was the whole idea behind the whole thing, which was fully padding on the fingers, knuckle protection, top of the hand protection, and actually side of the wrist protection as well, which was kind of a huge thing that didn't really exist in the market. Like you said, to be different. Everyone's creating regular batting gloves, their leather, their feel, which is great. I'm trying to take it a step further and involve that protection aspect. So, hey, the quality's there, the feel is there, and now add the protection for it. But on top of that, make sure the feel, if someone was blindfolded and they had my glove and someone else's, and they were squeezing and moving their hand, they wouldn't know the difference behind it. So that was kind of what the whole purpose of the glove was, to make that differentiator across really everyone else in the market right now.
What were the first gloves you held in your hands like? What was the moment like for you?
Yeah, the first sample that came in was an overwhelming, feeling, because the idea to have something in your head and try to implement it from a manufacturer, and I went through 20, 30 different manufacturers, because if it was just a design, that's easy because that's kind of the next thing. But to add stuff that didn't exist to a glove really, and test and sample them, and well, hey, this was not thick enough, this was too thin, or it didn't feel comfortable. To see the finished product, see the sample, try it on, was fantastic. To know that your idea in your head came to life in a way, and then to showcase it to some people that I was training and stuff, and having them try it on and see it, and like the reaction was amazing, because I knew it didn't exist. If it was one of another 30, you're like, well, hey, it's a cool color. But now to take it a step further was a great moment.
Do you remember the first person other than you to try on a pair of those gloves?
I do. Over the summer, I was a coach of a high school team, and right when I had them, the day I got the sample, we had a practice for my high school guys, so I had them try it on. They hit with it, and it was a great moment to have them try it on, and seeing the reaction of a player that didn't know I gave it to him, and he just thought it was their gloves, and said, dude, what are those gloves? They look cool. That was kind of that great moment, because it's great. It's cool to create a product, but then to have the outside market kind of tell you, hey, it's great, we like it, we're buying it, we're sharing it, and we're talking about it. That's kind of out of your hands sometimes. So that's what's a great moment on top of it.
I think like one of the best feelings. So like he started a sunglass brand like 2 years ago now, which is crazy. And like when you just show up to a field and there's some random kid just playing center field wearing your stuff, like there's no better feeling in the world. I'm sure that's where you're at now, is like you're starting to get the gloves out there. You show up to a tournament and you see a kid who bought a pair of gloves 2 weeks ago and now he's up to plate using them. And like, like obviously like you start a business, you got to make money, you got to keep the lights on, you want to provide for yourself and your family. But I think that especially folks in the baseball space, we do it for that feeling, right? Like that kid got a hit wearing your gloves. Like there's got to be no better feeling in the world than seeing those kids out there using the product.
Yeah, that's the best. Like I said, creating a product's one thing. Now it has to kind of talk on its own in the markets, but to have people get excited and they try the gloves on and they tell their parents they want it, and then they're wearing it, and you see them at practice, just having them naturally, like it's part of their day-to-day life now, is those batting gloves. And then I'm at tournaments every weekend, and some people, hey, I saw you at this tournament. I saw you at this one. I kept thinking about it. Now I can buy it. It's a great moment because there's so much competition. And they've been using batting gloves their whole life, and they know they could just go to a regular store and buy another top brand batting glove. But to say that, hey, they want mine, they like mine, and then the reaction from kids seeing other kids wear it. Hey, Billy or Johnny had these. This is where it's got at right here. And they see it, and now that credibility goes a long way for it. So that's what's a great moment to see them wearing it, talking about it. Then they post videos about it, saying how great it is. And that's unbelievable.
We gotta get into the brand. Why comic themed gloves? Tell us the story of why you love comics.
Comics in general, I mean, I'm a huge Marvel fan, Avengers, like most people are. So that was I just love comics, and looking at the differentiator, I'm like, well, the designs of the boom and the pow and the kind of the old Batman mentality of those stuff flying on the screen. That's what I thought. I'm like, that'd be cool implemented into a batting glove. And that's honestly why boom is right on top of the glove, for something different. And like you said, my logo or my name at the moment wasn't going to be strong enough to be like, oh, those are the batter on deck batting gloves. Hey, oh, those are the boom batting gloves. Those are the pow. Those are this. And it adds more value behind it, in my opinion. And I think when kids are seeing it, it stands out a little bit more.
Let's talk content. You post every day showing the behind the scenes, packing orders, setting up at tournaments, and players wearing your gloves. Why did you start sharing all of that?
It shows to the outside world what I'm doing. It showcases more credibility behind it. Unfortunately, if you aren't posting on social media and doing all that stuff nowadays, no one's really thinking about you. Like I said, I post more than probably most people ever do. I post in groups. I do tournaments. I do videos behind the scenes to get that 1% advantage over a company that has worth millions of marketing dollars that just does an ad and they're washing you out. So that's how I do it. I love doing it because I see different people's reaction. People comment, they like it. But again, not everyone's on Facebook or social media every single day of their life like I am. So when I post a video today, half the people aren't going to see it. Then if I post in 2 days from now, they'll see it. So they're not seeing everything. So that's what I've learned across the way of understanding the social media game. It's, hey, if I post a video and it didn't work, doesn't mean it was a bad post. Hey, maybe people weren't on social media at that moment in time seeing it, or they only scrolled through 3 or 4 of their posts on Facebook and they left Facebook and I was number 5 or 6. So there's a lot of things behind it that go into it, not just posting, kind of the timing and the quote unquote algorithm that in my head I create to be successful and create a brand.
Most athletes and small business owners know they need to post, but they don't. How important is it for you to show up every day on camera, and how do you get yourself to do it?
Yeah, it's obviously day one doing it. You're nervous because you're like, well, which angle? You're like, you kind of play a fun game, like, oh my God, in that funny way, oh my God, does my makeup look good? Does my hair look good? The angle of it, people are going to judge me. And at the end of the day, if you don't do it, not saying it's impossible, it's just very hard nowadays to not do it, because people that show their face, you guys do a podcast, you guys post a lot as well. By showing your face, it gives more credibility. People now associate you with different stuff, and that moment of walking around tournaments or stuff, and, hey, I know you from this, or I seen your face from this. That's, if you can build your personal brand of your face and who you are, it helps your business and everything underneath as well. So I was trying to grow Austin as the person that oh my God, he posts every day. I have, I say the same thing in my videos. What's going on, everyone? So it's funny. It's, people joke around, but that's what creates people to remember you and creates that brand underneath it.
Yeah, that was literally my next question, was like, that distinctive start of all of your videos, like, what's up, everybody, or what's going on, guys? It's like, it's every day, it's repetitive, it's Austin, like, it's very on brand. And, you kind of alluded to this, but I'll kind of see, where you take this is, how do you think it's actually helped the business? Because I'm sure you show up to a tournament and some little kids or some mom is like, dude, I've seen you on Facebook, or I see you in, the groups that we're in. And like, again, like we're all in the same groups, right? The travel ball parent groups and Central Florida travel ball and Florida travel ball. And like, it's a big community, but it's a small community at the same time. So how do you think the social side, actually helps the business? Like, have you seen that a sales uptick? Have you seen, just that familiarity start to kick in? Because, I think some people see this and they're like, man, that's a lot of work. Like Austin posts every day. I don't want to post every day, but like,
Yeah.
you're doing it because there's something to it.
Yeah. Well, and like it's my full-time job, baseball, and the batter on deck and everything I do is baseball 24/7. So I don't go to a normal job 9 to 5 and I flip baseballs and do videos. So every day I get excited for a new order that comes through or a new product that comes through. But to showcase it on social media, like you said, it's if I don't do it, everyone forgets in a second about, because it's not a necessity. They go to school, they go to practice, and unless their batting gloves rip, but then they might just, hey, let's go to academy, pick up some gloves and call, now there's no thought of it anymore. So I posted before Batter on Deck, I posted a lot because of private lessons and camps and clinics. And then that kind of created my foundation a little bit. Now creating the product and doing more videos besides just myself talking, which I know everyone loves hearing my voice every single day of everything. But it's showcasing different videos and now showcasing different players talking about it. Building that brand has to be outside of me a little bit for it to take off, other people spread. But like you said, going to a tournament and saying, hey, I know you, or hey, I trained with you, or if a kid says hi and the parent's like, who's that? Oh, he trained with him, or he did something with Austin. And that's kind of the exciting aspect for it. I love it. At 27 years old, I hope I can continue a full career doing this and building an empire. And one day a major league guy, puts them on during the game or something, and you never know from there.
You do a lot of events here in Orlando. How important is it for you to be at these events, meeting kids, getting them trying your gloves and gear, and beyond the community?
That's number one out of any startup company or local company. If people go to the farmers markets or the events or stuff like that to showcase their different foods or products like that. So for me to go to the baseball tournaments, that's my clientele 100%. For me to get feedback off the feel or how with the price or whatever they're going through, it gives that credibility because, again, I'm not in the main stores. They don't really know how it feels, even though I could say exactly how they feel. I'm one person's opinion or the other kids are talking about it. But as a player, you are the one playing. You want to try the gloves on. You want to feel it. And that's what going in person and, hey, guys, hey, those are cool gloves. Hey, try them on. Okay. They try it on. Wow, these actually feel really good. It's a shock and awe because they think with all the padding and stuff, it's going to be uncomfortable. They put it on, they move their hand, like, wow, I don't feel it. It's actually a really great quality glove. And not to like joke in their face, but I'm like, well, you think I would create an uncomfortable glove for you? I played my whole life. I sampled through hundreds of different manufacturers and different gloves and tried on. And this was the final product for that maximum feeling, the protection aspect, the durability, just everything behind it. So yeah, going in person, having them try it on and showcasing different products, from sliding mitts, I have a new catcher glove for catchers behind their hand. I got more stuff coming in that I'm working on that I'm excited because going in person showcases those products instantly. And that's what's great about in person is even though it's new, you can have a great day and you don't have to wait for anything. You're showing up one day, you run a business, one day people are wearing your gloves on the field and it's growing naturally. So that's crucial. Just as posting on social media, being in person is huge.
A lot of our listeners are players who also want to start something too. What advice would you give to a baseball player who wants to start their own brand?
A few different things is trying to be a little bit different than someone else, that they can't just unfortunately go on Amazon and buy the same thing and get it within the same day. So something a little bit different. You got to have a lot of fun with it. At the end of the day, if you're not having fun with it, it kind of goes away very quickly. I posted every single day for a long time. I get excited to post every day. I don't get annoyed posting because I know the opportunity. If I get one person to look at it that buys it or two people to buy from that one post, it's a great post. That post didn't cost me anything for that. So having the personality for it, having the drive for it, and just making sure you have time to do it. The idea is great behind your head, but if you're super busy with other stuff in life, you get frustrated with now everything. Make sure everything's kind of lining up at the right time, financially, time-wise, the product-wise, make sure it's better than everything else. But yeah, if you're interested, make sure you do your research behind it. Make sure there's a market for it before. Unfortunately, a lot of other people have the same ideas. So just kind of make sure we do some research before. But if it's ready and the product's there, then have some fun with it.
Great advice.
If you had unlimited budget to grow your brand, what would you spend it on?
What would I spend it on? Oh, man. And, it's an interesting question. What you said is unlimited budget, because a lot of people think that it's a ton of money to to build a whole brand on top of it. But you don't need a ton. You need some to start up to go now in person. I think it's more the work ethic. Like I said, if I had all the money, I'd be at every tournament in the States every single weekend. That would be my thing, because marketing online to a brand that isn't huge yet or credible yet is a waste of dollars, because it's way more expensive to run Facebook ads than to go to a tournament on the weekend and see your clientele. Because you could see millions of views on Facebook, but what percentage of those are you guys with the athlete playing baseball, looking at batting gloves? That's very small. But you go to a tournament in Central Florida, you're seeing 30, 40 teams, hundreds of players, all the parents. That's your clientele right then and there. So to have an unlimited budget, I'm going in person as much as I can, showcasing it, doing giveaways, giving gloves away to build it, because 1, 2, 10 gloves to give away that's the best marketing right there, for you to get a reaction, for you to do a video, feel it, you showcase it out to your teammates of 10, 12 other guys. That's the best marketing, I would say, right now.
What a good answer. We haven't had that one yet, but it makes so much sense, right? Unlimited budget. Let's be everywhere. Let's be in all of these events. I love that. And again, like with a product like yours, we talked to RJ, founder of Voot Grips, a couple weeks ago, and he said the same thing. He's like, if my grip is just in a store on a shelf, but no one can feel it, they don't know why it's different than any other bat grip, right? But he's like, but if I'm at an event and I say, hey, hold my bat, and someone feels the grip, they are instantly a customer, right? And I think it's the same thing with yours. Is like, they see the brand, it stands out. Hey, why don't you come try a pair on? And they're like, wow, these are like, what better marketing than literally being where the players are? Love that. I've got one more for you. We'll run some rapid fire, and we'll wrap this one up. But I want to kind of talk about, so where the brand is now, and kind of where your vision is for this. Like, where is this all going, right? Like, we got the batting gloves, protective gear, you got some cool shorts, you're starting to expand into some different products. What is the future vision of this, like, in your head? Like, when you think about where you want to take this brand, what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, I've thankfully I'm working with a few players that have played baseball, former major league guys, that are helping me build connections behind the scenes a little bit. I'm able to send some gloves and send some product to some higher playing players right now. So my vision for it is, obviously, Bruce Bolt's the biggest name right now in batting gloves for it. So to kind of emulate a little bit, get to the big leagues to showcase it. But that's kind of one area I see. I love to be in the academies of the world, the Dicks of the world, to be on a shelf. Why I say that is because I've worked very hard with my manufacturers to get a great price point, to be able to go into those stores. But, to grow across and being at the Cooperstown, being at the biggest tournaments in the country, and setting up at those and really building that brand online, where once it gets there and people are now buying it because it's, hey, that's the glove I want when my gloves rip, or that's when the next season I want them. That's what my vision behind it is, because I think the quality is always there, and the differentiator of comics, a full future vision would be getting a license deal from Disney to do full comic batting gloves, so the full Hulk edition, the Captain America edition. That would be my future goal as well, which hopefully is a very short goal from right now. But that would be something that's unheard of in the market right now, is to have a licensed batting glove with compared to having Boom with, say, Smash with the full Hulk design and, graphic behind it. So now it's the Hulk batting glove, not, a color or a logo. It's an addition, and that's what no one's ever done. So in my head, I have huge plans for what it could be to create something. But yeah, that's how I see the future of it. Is I have a few different angles that I'm always working on and trying to see which one sticks and which one works the best.
I love that, man. We had Chris Gronkowski, Rob Gronkowski's brother, on early on, and he said the biggest thing that for growth for them is they went to one of those like licensing shows, and he's like, you wouldn't believe what you can license, so he literally licensed the Boom Pop brand and the Pit Viper brand and Nerds, and my head's immediately going to like, dude, what if you had like Pac-Man themed gloves and like all these things, and like you just have all these brands want partnerships too. So anyway, I think you're onto something really cool there, and the cool thing is the IP is like infinite, right? There's so many characters, there's so many things you can go down. That is really fun. Let's jump into some rapid fire. I got to get him off to school, and then we'll tell everybody where to go to find some Batter on Deck gloves.
Yeah.
Who's your dream athlete collab?
Dream athlete collab? Probably Aaron Judge. That's a cool one right now.
It's a good one.
Who's your favorite comic book character?
Captain America.
If you could license a superhero from Marvel or DC to make it limited edition batting gloves, who would you choose and why?
Hulk. It's funny how we asked that, but yeah, Hulk batting gloves.
What's the coolest place you've ever played baseball?
Coolest place is probably Liberty University in the mountains on a full turf field.
What's the best advice you've received from a coach or mentor about baseball, business, or life?
It's actually a cool baseball thing is when hitting, a coach said to swing fast. And that was kind of a big thing that helped in my career is trying to work a lot on your swing. But he's like, just swing fast. Swing as fast as you can, fast hands, and hit the ball hard. So that was a cool advice, to swing fast. And that's kind of how I took in marketing, is to go fast, post, and do everything fast.
In 10 years, what would make Batter on Deck a success?
What would make it a success? Two things. It's A, hopefully still around, but B, in all the major retail stores, being sold, across the country, and building an empire for batting gloves.
Love that. Hope it's around for 10 years, even longer. BatterOnDeck.com. We'll link up all the socials. Anything else maybe we didn't ask you, or anything else that you want people to know about the gloves, the brand, as we wrap up here today?
No, I appreciate you guys having me. Everything's on the site, on social media. You'll see everything about me. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time with me as well. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Yep, thanks.